Hello there. I have hauled a bunch of books lately, and I want to show them off to you. So stay tuned and watch this video until the end. And I'm back. My name is Taylor. This is Taylor Talks Comics. Thank you for joining me. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below with your thoughts on any of the books that I show off today, or anything comic book related. I love chatting about comics. So yes, these are books that I've hauled over the last couple months or so that I just haven't showed off on the channel yet. As always with these haul videos, if there's a book I show off that you want a deeper dive look on, its own separate video, then by all means, drop that in the comments as well, and I will do that for you. So up first I have the Hero Trade from Bad Idea Comics, Matt Kindt and David Lapham in this awesome trade paperback. This is the first mass market collected edition from Bad Idea. I was actually on the forefront of collecting all the Bad Idea comics when they first started. I thought it was a really cool comic book publishing company, and I love all the things they did. Now it's become, I don't know, that's another conversation for another day. The point is, this is an awesome book. I'm glad that they collected this in a way that you can pick it up in a comic book shop like this. And I hope that they do that with all their series, regardless if they said that they would never be collected or not. I don't really care about that. The end papers are really cool. You have this really cool before and after picture. And it's on this newsprinty paper, which is perfect for the style of story we're getting here. And this is like chock full of real good stuff here. David Lapham, if you're not familiar, was the artist on Stray Bullets, one of the greatest crime comics of all time. And then Matt Kindt is one of my favorite comic book writers or creators, artists as well. And the Hero Trade it would pop up in backup strips sometimes, pop up in its own spin-off comics here and there. But it was also kind of Matt Kindt and David Lapham's commentary on the superhero genre of like how we take these characters and we chop them up to bits and what's really left of them after all these creators have had their say on them or not. So it's a really interesting take on the superhero genre, but it's done as a crime story from the point of view of the non-super heroic characters. And you can see the David Lapham artwork is just amazing. So I can't wait to dive into this and read it in full like this, because I've only read probably about half of this, I think. I think there's a lot of stuff in here I haven't read before. We get some scripts back here from Matt Kindt, some concept art for the covers, some pin thumbnails it looks like. There's David Lapham working on the art. And then I know there's some like alternate covers back here too, because they did a Kickstarter for a hardcover version of this. There's a Rob Liefeld artwork. And about the authors. So really, really cool stuff. Can't wait to pick this up. Nice little thick trade. And it's really cheap too. It's only $12.99 cover price. You can't beat that for this thick trade of really good crime stories. Moving on over here. This next one is Box Brown. I'm a big fan of Box Brown. And this is a graphic novel I found of his. I think I found it in Half Price Books, I want to say. And I never read it before, so definitely looking forward to checking this out. Box Brown, if you're wanting like a good gateway into his comics, I'd check out his Tetris comic, or the one he did recently, He-Man, and I forget what, it's He-Man and something or other. It's about 80s toys in that movement. But this one is, I think, just like a graphic novel collection of his own stories. I mean, they're all his own stories, but those are like not about a certain historical aspect or anything. So he did an Andy Kaufman book and an Andre the Giant comic as well. Here's Chex Quest. Now, what the heck is this? Now, this was, I think, available. I think you got this if you sent in something for, I don't know where this came from, honestly. Originally, like where you'd acquire this, but I found this in Goodwill, funny enough. And it's even got the Angry Video Game Nerd from YouTube on here. But the reason why I picked this up was because there's Tom Scioli, a 6-page Tom Scioli story in here. Let me get to that. And I don't know if this was just like a random work-for-hire job that Tom Scioli picked up or what. I've never seen him advertise this. I've never seen him show off like, hey, I did the story. But it's that classic, it's the era of Tom Scioli of recent years where he did like Fantastic Four Grand Design and Jack Kirby's Epic Life of King of Comics, and that era, you could tell by his artwork. But I just love Tom Scioli's work, and this was like $1. I found it at Goodwill, so why not pick that up? Here's Alex Toth, Bravo for Adventure. Found this at a Half Price Books recently too. Do a lot of thrifting and a lot of Half Price Books shopping and used bookstores and things. But this is an Alex Toth book I didn't own. And anytime there's an Alex Toth book I don't own, I have to pick it up. He is a master cartoonist, one of the greatest of all time. I was sad to find out the glue on the binding came completely apart. So I'm either going to have to repair that or just be careful with it. I don't know. But it's got Dean Mulaney. This is starting to come apart too. Which I think all the pages are intact though. I don't think it's missing any pages. Hopefully. But I'm excited to read this. Yeah, see the glue is completely coming apart. It's going to be really hard to read. But yeah, it's annoying. But I might be able to fix that. I don't know. But regardless, this is like... some people say it's Alex Toth's magnum opus. It's kind of like what he wanted to do, mimicking like the French album format with his character. It's got a lot of cool back matter in here too, which there is an artist edition for this, which I think includes every single page that's in here, but in artist edition format. So I still need to pick that up. And then, yes, jeez. IDW did have all these Genius Illustrated, Genius Isolated, and Genius Animated books. I have a video showing those off if you're familiar. Or if you're wanting to see more Alex Toth, I can link that above and below for you. But excited to read this, no matter how difficult it is from the book falling apart. Here's Art of Judge Dredd, the Zarjaz covers. This was thrown in a box. You saw my recent video where I showed off the Street Angel hardcovers. I bought those off Josh Greathouse, who was kind enough to go pick this up for me at Heroes Con, and then he threw this in as a nice little extra and treat for me to look at. 2000 AD is something that I'm always exploring. I don't think I'll ever be an expert on things 2000 AD, but it's something that I always want to check out and find more information about. So this is a perfect book for me to be able to read. It's like a coffee table book. You got to read a lot of information and things, and then see some really cool artwork of the covers and the progs, which they're releasing is like weekly. So there's like all these cool covers on here throughout 2080's history to look at. So yeah, it's a really cool book. Thank you, Josh, for hooking me up with this. I need to do more 2000 AD stuff on my channel too. If that's something you want to see, drop that in the comments. All right, now for the two packages that I have. This first one is a rare gem of a 1986 comic book series from DC Comics. And it caught my eye when I was doing some research. So I'm working on a project related to that subject matter. Not ready to announce anything yet, but regardless, I was doing some research and I found out about the series I never heard of, and I wanted to check it out because it sounded awesome. And then I had these sent to me. And it's just one of those things, like I love whenever I find, whenever I find these like rare gems of a series from Marvel or DC that I don't hear people talk about a lot and only lasted like 8 to 10 issues or whatever, and it's kind of gone to the history. I always want to explore those and maybe even highlight them to make sure they are preserved in history for, going forward. But what I'm talking about is Angel Love. This is it was an 8-issue plus a special, so it was 9 issues total. A series by Barbara Slate. And it came out in 1986 of DC, edited by Karen Berger. And I'm actually going to pause the video and pull these all out of their bags so I can flip through them while I talk. Hold on. Okay, if I was better at YouTube, I would have done the cool like fast forward thing where I open them all with fast forward. But I digress. Try to put these in order too. Here's the first issue, issue 8, 5, 4, 3. All right, they're all here. All right, so this is by Barbara Slate, who did a lot of Archie comics back in the day. She did the Barbie comics in the 90s. And this is a weird series because I love the art style, first of all, with this kind of like Deadline kind of art to it. And it's like very cartoony pop art kind of style to it. But the subject matter within here, so this looks like a, maybe like a Archie Comics type deal, but the subject matter is a lot heavier than that. Like she has a friend that's like addicted to cocaine. She has a friend that has to like go and get an abortion. Like, so the subject matter in here is wild. I think that's why it didn't really land a great audience in the 80s, was probably because couldn't find its target audience who would enjoy this, which probably would have been like the Love and Rockets type crowd instead of the DC crowd. But I do love when Marvel and DC have this history of like these weird projects they experiment with. So I'm excited to read this and see what it's all about, but it has like this more like cartoony kind of style to it. Don't miss Batman 400. What? You're pregnant? It's just such a weird historical cover there. But it's got this cartoony style, but it's very much a more serious subject matter to it. So definitely interested in trying this out. I'm going to do a separate video on this too, by the way, because all the back matter, like all the like ads and the editorial columns and the things also kind of fit into why I wanted to read through these. But yeah, so I'll do a separate video on this and see more about it, but I just want to give you a little preview so maybe you can be tipped off there when I get to that point. From the drawing board, here's the letters pages too. Those are always fun to read, so you can actually see what the people were saying about the series when it's coming out, whether it be positive or negative. Yes, okay, so I'm really glad that there's letters pages. That's cool. Karate Kid action figures. I love looking at these old comics for these ads too. Get the yellow newsprint paper. It's all very nostalgic. Laser tag ad. I wonder who drew that. More letters columns. Here's issue number 8. And I'd also like to know how the story was wrapped up, because I know that it was canceled after issue 8, but they'd let her do a special issue to wrap up the whole story. I don't know if it was originally set out to be that, just a short 8 to 12 issue series, or if it's supposed to be like an ongoing, as long as the is popular and that kind of thing. I do love these American Defense action figures. I had that action figure. But these are like generic G.I. Joes, which is funny because this is a DC comic, and Marvel had the G.I. Joe license, so it's funny that DC's advertising the competitor, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited to try this out, see what it has. Might be a hidden gem to show off on the channel. And then up next we have the big box. All right, here's a box of comics, and these are all Marvel and DC. So if you're more into the big two mainstream comics, then this part of the video will be for you. Alright, a couple boxes within a box. It's always fun to see. Alright, I think this one is an omnibus. So let's do this one first. There it is. Flash by Joshua Williamson, Omnibus Volume 1. So we have the second one announced and coming out in a couple of months, I believe. And then I think we'll need a third one at least to finish the run. And then also announced recently, or solicited, was the Flash by Mark Waid Volume 3 and the Road to Rebirth Omnibus, which I think is the omnibus that'll take us through the end of the Robert Venditti run. So it'll take place after the Manapul run and leading up to this omnibus. So we're getting closer and closer to having Flash currently, Flash continuously from Crisis on Infinite Earths all the way to present day in omnibus or deluxe edition format, if we're referring to the Grant Morrison one. But Flash is at this point I should probably just not even, get rid of the pretense and just say that he's my favorite DC character. I went through a big Flash readathon a couple years ago, reading everything I could from him of all these different eras and runs. And it made me fall in love with the character and also realize how important he is to the overall DC universe. Obviously, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman are probably the trinity of most important characters. But Flash has touched pivotal points of every big event to do with DC throughout its history. So I'm really excited to dive into this. I've read the first... This is the button. I know I've read this part. I've read the first, I think, 20 issues of this run already. I want to say... I'm trying to find a cover here. Oh, the covers don't have trade dresses. Or content. That's annoying. But I know I've read the first part of this run. I don't know if I read this entire book or not. What issues does this even collect? All the way through issue 35. See, I think I read the first 20 to 30 issues of this in trade paperback a couple years ago when I was doing the big Flash readathon. So I'll be able to reread it before the volume 2 comes out, because the volume 2 will be all new material for me. And I'll be excited to dive into that. And then I'll be able to, hopefully one day, soon, read all of Flash from beginning to end. So we do need some Bronze Age omnibuses still. We need some omnibuses that came out between Silver Age Volume 3 and Crisis on Infinite Earths, or the William Messner Loeb's omnibus. I don't know how many there would be. I think at least 1 or 2. I don't know. Maybe it could be a 15 for all I know. But I know we need all those. Now these are epic collections. This last bit of the video here. By the way, I hope you gave the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Commented down below throughout the duration of this video talking about any of these books. So longtime viewers know that I collect all of the mutant-related Marvel stuff in epic collections. So here are 3 mutant-related epic collections. We have Law of the Jungle, which is Wolverine Volume 15. So, and I think I've given up on trying to collect the modern mutant epics. So I'm only doing classic era of the epic collections. But I do hope to one day have all of it, so I can read all the mutant stuff in order, in some sort of crazy reading order. But I've read most of this stuff. Like, I've read a lot of the mutant-related stuff here and there, but I'd like to do a big, huge readathon. Anyways, this is Deadpool, Agent X. I've not read any of this material, I don't think, and I love the fact that it has Evan Dorkin on the cover there, because he does write a couple issues, I think. I think the ones that involve Fight Man, which is an awesome character, by the way. So I know with the Fight Man issue, I think was collected in... This is volume 7. I think the previous volume had the Fight Man issue in it. Some sort of weird thing on the cover there. So this is Deadpool volume 7. And here's the big one. This is New Mutants, Fallen Angels, volume 4. This gives us, in 8 volumes, every issue of New Mutants from 1 to 100, including all the important crossover issues and those things as well. But that's awesome. I love the New Mutants. It starts off with the great Chris Claremont, Bob McLeod run. Then you get the Bill Sienkiewicz era, which is amazing. Some of the best comics to come out of that era. And then you get through the middle part, you get the Louise Simonson run. She's a great writer, underrated. And then you get to the Rob Liefeld stuff, which is awesome and exciting at the end. So I'm excited to have all of New Mutants. I don't think I read a lot of this material before, because this might be the first time it's been collected. I know I have not read Fallen Angels 1 through 8, so I'm excited to dive into that. But yeah, so that's my haul. I got a few epic collections, the Flash Omnibus, Angel Love 1 through 8 plus the special, a 2000 AD Judge Dredd book, Bravo for Adventure, Alex Toth, Chex Quest, a serial comic, Box Brown, and the Hero Trade. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it so much. Please comment down below with your thoughts, and give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with all your friends. And also, one last note. I do a weekly live show on Wednesdays at noon talking about comic book news. So if you go over to the live tab, you can watch any of the previous episodes. First episode just launched yesterday. Or relaunch, I guess. But tune in on Wednesdays at noon to check that out. Thank you guys so much. Keep talking comics.